The contents on this channel are for learning, insight, and introspection.
Hey, mindful people, you have made your way back to Mind Your Mind with Just Justified. So I know it's been quite a bit. I took a little break on some of the videos, but we are back and we are in full force because the topic that I have today is called Reactive Abuse, Reactive AB. So let's check this first clip out.
No, I'm not crazy. You did this to me.
I know.
God damn, I'm not fucking crazy. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. Tell me I'm fucking crazy again. No.
Now, I know it had a lot of colorful language in there, but basically, this is a lady who's saying that she kind of recognizes what is going on because she's been there, where it's more like reactive abuse. She probably heard things over some time and she kind of knows. But let's break down a little bit more reactive abuse because it seems to be one of the more misunderstood aspects of abuse. So let's look into our first video.
Reactive abuse. So the narcissist will criticize you. I mean, it's like they're like squashing you down to the point where like you cannot breathe, you can't think. All you're doing is taking it. And finally one day you just explode and you start screaming and you're like, I can't take this anymore. You're like losing your mind because you've been in this battle for so long. And what does that person do? They turn around and they look at you and they go, Look at how crazy you are. Who's gonna scream like that? Who's gonna start crying like that? Who's gonna get a rash from crying so hard? Only a mental person, only a person that something severely wrong with that person. And it's like they get in your head so much that you're sitting there like, oh, I did scream. I was overwhelmed. I can't control myself. What is wrong with me? And again, it wasn't the fact that this person was criticizing you nonstop every single day and you finally like, as a human, were able to express yourself and explode because you can't express yourself on a daily basis. So you finally just like, I can't take it anymore. And you feel like you're losing your mind and that person uses it against you. They completely use you reacting to their abuse as you being the problem.
So this is the tactic that an abuser may use to push you to a reaction and highlight your reaction to downplay or overlook their abuse. So here's a viewpoint on reactive abuse from an actual narcissist.
Narcissist, I'm going to push you as hard and as far as I can to the place where you snap and you come back at me. I'm going to rage at you enough until you finally see and feel and think of all the injustice that I'm putting on you, and then you rage back at me. Then you raise your voice, you yell at me, and instantly, it's like I'm calm. Why are you yelling at me? Like, I haven't been yelling at you. Like, what is going on? I'm instantly gaslighting. I'm instantly trying to manipulate. I'm instantly trying to lie and control and turn it around that I'm the victim. And there's a part of it that starts to mess with your mind. There's a part of it that starts to screw with your reality because you realize in that moment, hey, I'm yelling at this person. And I'm like, hey, you're yelling at me. Like, that's really not nice. Like, I feel attacked right now because you're yelling at me. And while there's a tiny aspect of that that's true because you're yelling at me, the whole point is I'm the one that caused that. I'm the one that forced you to get to the place where you're yelling at me.
Now, it is eye-opening, the tactics that they would use to flip it so that they can appear as the victim. This next video breaks it down a bit more.
is when a victim has been in a toxic relationship for a while and they begin defending themselves against emotionally violent attacks. So this happens like when we push, yell, rage, have angry outbursts, throw things, call people names. This is self-defense. It happens when we hit our breaking point. Yep. So we will hit a point where it's just like we have no choice but to react.
Yeah.
So, and it's typically out of character for us, which makes us feel really confused by our own responses. It's a defense mechanism, but it rarely saves us from the harm.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's crazy about it.
Yeah, it makes it worse, and
Yep.
we'll get into why here in a moment. But
yeah.
I think that anyone, like I've seen this in relationships, even when there's not alcohol or drugs, when you just got an abusive person, and it's generally the woman will say, we were just toxic together. We were bad for each other. Well, if you really back up and look at what's happening, is that you've got someone who's incredibly emotionally abusive, someone who will lash out in uncharacteristic ways, defending themselves, and then look way too hard at their part in that.
Yes.
It's not to say you shouldn't look at your part in things, right? I'm still a believer in that, but looking way too hard at it and completely disregarding the other person's, why you ended up there. Like, the context matters here.
Yeah.
The context absolutely matters. And the context is generally, you've been backed into a corner. You've been told you're crazy. You've been emotionally abused, sometimes physically abused. And then at some point you reach a breaking point, like Paige mentioned, and you just snap.
Yeah.
And you just snap. It's like you just start seeing red. And anything that happens after that point is an involuntary self-defense mechanism.
Yep.
The crazy part is that it usually is out of character, as you know, they said in that video, but mainly occurs when we've reached that breaking point. So these next two videos would show you how incessant their poking is, because there are some people who may say, just get over it, but not really look at the fact that they are incessant sometimes with their prodding and poking. So let's check out the first one, who is a man and his then wife. So here we go.
What's the problem? What is the problem? You don't have a problem with it. Can I take the non-existence of your response as you not having a problem? Okay, you don't have a problem with it. I am taking the non-existence of a response from you as not having a problem with it at all. Great. Since there's no nay and there's no yay, there is no problem, right? Okay, there's no problem with it. Fantastic.
And you can actually pause to read the descriptions, but basically she's making cupcakes for her daughter, for her daughter's birthday. And this second one is, well, you'll see, very, very sad when you really look at it.
The bills in this house, you don't, bro. You need to go out there. When you start paying the bill, then you can do that. I know you can hear me. Them fucking cheap ass headphones ain't even loud. You trying to keep a straight face and shit. I smack the dog shit out of you, you little ugly ass. Fucking cheap ass bro you got on. Dirty ass. Ooh, I swear to God, I can't stand to be around you.
Now, from these two videos, you can see that they chose a reaction of ignoring and silence. Now, there are some people who may actually react even more abrasive, and either way, it's a reaction because of their prodding. If you notice how they were just incessant and prodding at them, you know, and I do think that ignoring and silence is a better reaction than actually blowing up. But then sometimes you have to think about how it is when it is continually happening and you've just reached that last of it happening so much, you know. All right, so I couldn't end this without the explanation this woman gave in this next video.
Do you notice that the abuser in the clip is the calm one? That is the purpose of reactive abuse. It is a chess move. The abuser will purposely gaslight, dog whistle, and any other forms of abuse to get their victim to react in an abusive manner so they can blame shift and say, oh, whoa, 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 I'm not abusive. She's crazy. He's an asshole, whatever the case may be. That is why they do that. When you're calm, cool, and collected with an abuser, they're putting you down, calling you awful things, physically hurting you, whatever they're doing, and you're calm about it, like, hey, let's go to therapy, or, you know, can you please calm down? It inside will subconsciously trigger them like, oh God, because they will realize they're the problem and not you, and they can't have that, especially the narcissist. So they will push you until you are abusive so they can blame shift and make you the problem.
So now, everything she said, I've lived through it before. I have to admit, because this is slightly triggering, because I experienced this with my ex, and he exhibited many narcissistic traits. And when I saw myself reacting to his constant prodding and poking, I knew I could not stay in that relationship. When they talk about the confusion part, that's real. I knew where I was pushed was not how I typically was. I know that when I was pushed, that's not how I typically was. That's not where I wanted to be. So this, coupled with the gaslighting and blame shifting, it in itself is crazy making. So then you are looked at for your reaction rather than what led to the reaction. So I do have a mindful moment for us today. So the mindful moment segment is going to be a video of the seven signs of reactive abuse. So I'm just going to leave this video with us as we go.
Signs that you've been pushed to reactive abuse in the relationship with a narcissist. They provoke you. They humiliate you, they antagonize you, they insult you. It seems like they're trying to push you to get a reaction. Uncharacteristic behavior. When they keep provoking you and you eventually snap, you see a version of yourself that you don't recognize. You feel confused. You don't understand how you could have reacted that way because you've never seen yourself act like that before, and you don't even feel like yourself. You end up feeling guilty about the way that you reacted and ashamed of your behavior. You end up feeling doubtful of whether or not you're the abuser in the relationship because of how extreme and out of character your reaction was. Your partner collects some type of evidence, like a video of your reaction, to try to use against you and create fear in you that everyone's going to think that you are the narcissist or the abuser. The reaction came out of self-defense, meaning you didn't initiate this interaction. If you can relate to some or all of these, you may have experienced reactive abuse, where the narcissist pushes you and pushes you and pushes you until you snap, and then tries to use your reaction against you to deflect from the fact that they're actually the abuser.
So this is real. I've actually been gaslit by people after explaining this, and you know, people not seeing it from that end half the time, or some people do because they know your character and how you usually present yourself, how you're calm, cool, collected, and then if they see that you like kind of blew up now all of a sudden, what's going on? But definitely something that is not talked about as much when you hear about abuse and all. So just remember, you either control your mind or it controls you. So until next time, peace.